ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags. Now I had a request on my Vampire video that I did a couple of days ago, since I compared the Vampire against the performance of the F80c, just to show how underperforming it is, to actually show a video of the F80c and what the difference in battle looks like. So here it is. This worked out really well because due to having access to the sabres as well, I actually haven't flown the F80c much, and it is still stock. Now, much like the Vampire video, we're on the Korea map. Now you can already see I'm halfway down the runway and I'm already doing 300 kilometers an hour, which is 50 kilometers an hour faster than the Vampire takeoff speed. I get wheels up and I'm rapidly accelerating in a climb. I've angled up about 9 degrees at the moment from the initial part of my takeoff because I'm trying to accelerate. I'm already up over 400 kilometers an hour. I will make 500 before I get out of sight of the runway, which if you recall from the Vampire video, it took the Vampire half the map to get to that speed, and it couldn't climb while doing it. With the F80Cs, I always climb out over these mountains and then turn towards the enemy base. It gives me a wide angle on the direction that they're coming from. It gives me enough, I tend to stay behind the main pack in battle because it gives me enough response time if the enemy team consists of MiG-15s. Now, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I have been hearing reports of something positive that has actually happened in the game due to the new RP system and the way it operates. Something that people are liking, and what it is due to it being so much more difficult for Russian players to be able to skip all the way down to the MiG-15 and no longer play the MiG-9s, you're tending to get battles in low-level jet era where the F80Cs are not fighting MiG-15s, they're taking on MiG-9s and MiG-9 lates. This is the first time I've ever experienced it myself, however. My team is a split 50-50 between F80Cs and 1B Bearcats. The enemy team is a single MiG-9 late. The rest of the team consists of a combination of MiG-9s, LA-9s, and a single Yak-15. Now, this battle I was teamed up with Oz Salty. He's also in his F80 behind me. This shows... Well, here I was talking to him during the match about the differences that you can achieve just in the takeoff. Now I've taken off at a lower angle, gained a higher speed and are climbing at a much shallower level. My aircraft is dead stock. His is about 50% upgraded. He climbed at a sharper angle and took off at a lower airspeed from the runway, and as you can see, he's not much higher than me, but he's quite a bit behind me and is falling behind. By the time we get to the combat zone, we're actually at equal altitude, but I'm moving almost 150 kilometers an hour. It's quite amazing how much of a difference your takeoff and the way you perform your takeoff can make to how effective you are for that initial engagement in a battle. So always keep that in mind. Now it's at this point that I've realised that the enemy team doesn't have any MiG-15s. The reason why I know is because they haven't shot anything down yet. No Russian targets have been identified at all. Now MiG-15s at this point would have been able to cross all the way to our airfield with no problems. First target appears as an LA-9. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure why the MiG-9s didn't get here first. The LA-9 must have come straight in, and it's at equal altitude to where I am, showing that this prop fighter is actually incredibly dangerous when it is upgraded. I am wary of them. They're armed with 4 23mm, identical to the ones loaded onto the MiG-15. If they get their guns on you, they will shred you. So I begin closing in. I'm just approaching on an angle. I want to see what he's up to and where he's pointing, and I can't tell yet at 7 kilometers out. I'm checking around to see where all my allies are. I do have a fighter screen. I am on the outer edge, but I have plenty of cover to dive into if I suddenly find myself in need of it. Salty's following behind. So I begin to pick a dive angle. Now you can already see the Vampire could not do what I'm doing right now. It was just incapable of it. The truth of the matter is, even with the flight model fixed, it's probably still incapable of anything approaching it. So it is not only underperforming, but it's over-tiered. So I take it into a dive, already accelerating past 900 kilometers an hour. I'm starting to approach wing brake threshold. The plane is stiffening in its controls. I have to abort the dive because I'm about to bust 1,000 kilometers an hour, which starts getting into wing rip threshold area for the F80C. Despite popular belief, you can tear the F80C's wings off. It just takes a pretty extreme maneuver to do it. But all the altitude loss in that dive was not wasted because the first MiG-9 was coming in behind me at the time and approaching rapidly. So that 1,000 km/h dive actually made me clear out of an area where I potentially could have been in a bit of trouble. Immediately flick off the LA-9, I can deal with it later, it can't catch me in the run. MiG-9 is far more threatening. 2 more MiG-9s on high. Take it into another boom. MiG-9 manoeuvres out of the way. Not going to be able to turn with it, but there's a Yak-15. I'll see if I can get the guns on that. Now, as much as I hate these little planes, they are really manoeuvrable, and if the pilot has his situational awareness on, they are very, very, very hard to hit. As you can see, he's dodged booms from 2 F80Cs and an F8F, and is still managing to get away. So I climb back for altitude, holding an 8G turn, just had another MiG-9 zoom past. Just making myself hard to hit and hard to track. I haven't got a lock on where that MiG-9 went. Yak-15 goes down. There's a Yak-3. Shoot wide and miss, and I take a hit from somewhere. I think it was AAA burst, but I'm not sure. Clear out of the black. Got a MiG-9 on my tail, it's engaging salty. Take this F80c into the vertical. I'm still getting shots at, so roll 90 degrees, so I miss the next burst of shots. It's always important, even in a vertical climb, if you're using the vertical to evade a target, change direction. Do not continue the roll, it makes you predictable. Back into a dive, put one straight into the nose of the MiG-9, continue through. Again go vertical, this time into a full rollover. The MiG-9 is getting ready to turn, I now have an altitude advantage. Roll the plane. Around, shoot ahead, I've got plenty of ammunition to spare, first kill. Try and continue through to the Yak-3. Another big hit, double. Yak-3 gets taken out, I only get a kill assist. Use my speed to clear airspace. I've lost track of a couple of targets, I'm not sure where everyone is, so just going very wide. Yet another MiG-9 still up. OzSalty is on target along with most of the team. And it's one of only 2 remaining aircraft. Closing speed's already back to nearly 700 kilometers an hour. Now this is after maneuvers in combat, and it's already able to gain speed faster than what the Vampire was ever capable of. Spot Tetsuo in the PE2 as the MiG-9 gets hit and goes down. I go to make an attempt on it. 50 calibers against things like the PE2s, however, are just... well, they're subpar for dealing with heavily armoured targets. So I put some hits on. Again, go vertical. Now I'm going vertical on this target not so much for evasion, but I want to put myself in a high altitude position for a boom, and I want to arrest my movement speed. You see I killed my throttle. If I kept the throttle on, I would have moved out of the area and been unable to get guns back on the target, but it wasn't necessary, target eliminated. Now there's still an enemy fighter up here, but we're not entirely sure where it is. So we begin our patrol. Now it's probably worth re-mentioning here, this is a stock F80. This is as bad as they get. From here it only goes up. There are only upgrades to improve its performance, its handling, and the accuracy of its guns. This is probably the best, or equal title the best, for the old level 18 fighters. It goes hand in hand with the Meteor F4 Longwing, which I find to be an incredible aircraft as well. The F80c definitely has the speed, however. The F80c is faster than the F9Fs in a fully upgraded form. It will keep up with MiG-15s to an extent and match speeds with Sabres. Its vertical capabilities are incredible, and it does have major issues actually breaking its wings. As I said, it is possible, despite popular belief, to break an F80c from over-G manoeuvres or excessive speed. But you've really got to put the pressure on the plane in order to do it. It's also worth mentioning that where the Vampire video I posted was without a doubt, the best battle I've ever had in the Vampire, this isn't even close to the best battle I've had in the F80c. It was one of the most fun battles I've ever had, but performance-wise, this isn't the best I've ever done. So this machine is capable of so much more. Now, the enemy target is not on the airfield, so I'm beginning to check the rivers on the east side of the map. See whether or not he's hiding over that section of the mountains. It is a beautiful aircraft as well. I gotta say, I do like the performance levels in modern jet fighters, but nothing beats the design of the very early generation jets. Now I'm beginning to scan out ground targets here because I'm not sure where this guy is. I'm thinking I might do a dose of ground pounding. I've still got 707 MG rounds on board, even after all the misses that I fired. This thing carries a damn good ammunition load. Cruise speed 100 kilometers an hour. I'm still accelerating, and I'm doing around 750 kilometers an hour. I've got a slight nose down, but I can maintain that speed on the level. I'm just dropping down because of new spotting mechanics. If the enemy target is cutting the grass, it's actually incredibly hard to spot from altitude. And there goes the enemy. He was over near the airbase, and upon seeing two F80Cs returning for ammo and fuel load, immediately crashed into the deck. So he took himself out of the battle. I now have a few seconds to try and get a ground kill and still last final blow from the team. So I'm under full air brakes at the moment to try and arrest my speed, but still keep it controlled. Get the kill, but just milliseconds too slow. So I finished the match in 4th place with 1 air kill, 1 ground kill and 2 assists, just above OzSalty. 49,530 Silver Lions and 2,735 mod research points. And as you can see here, the F80C is still unlocking fuselage repair, which is the first upgrade you unlock on any aircraft. So it is still completely stock. That is the F80C in the worst possible way that she can ever fight. And it makes the Vampire look, well, like the joke she really is, which is a real shame. Anyway, this aircraft, however, truly a beast, and I fully recommend you unlock it. If you're going down to the US tree and you're wondering if the jets are worth it, the F80C is definitely worth it. Anyways, it was just a short one for today, folks. I hope you like this video. Click the like button if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.